Hey, it's Aaron, the Metal Theologian. Sort of winging it tonight. I've still been listening to a lot of hip hop. A little bit of metal in there too, though. Some of the rock stuff. We'll see sort of how this shakes out, right? Yeah, I've still been going pretty hard on the rap stuff, but it's funny because I've been like wanting to get into some metal again too a little bit. Like I had to do, did metallurgy again recently, and I had to listen to a whole bunch of Swedish shit to like get myself back up to speed. So I put a lot of that stuff away too because it's stuff I've shown a bunch of times, but sort of got me going, so maybe I'm ready for a little bit of a bigger dose now, you know what I mean? Sort of like ride that metal wave for a few months. But it's kind of weird because I've been listening to two sort of side by side, and it's not really something I normally do. I usually like go all in for one style or another, you know? So, yeah. I'm going to talk about a couple different ones here. So this is what's playing right now. It's this Odyssey one. The Odd Tape, which I got because of the guy's reputation as a producer and that. And it's funny because it's really kind of more of, I mean, to me this is more of, it's not quite a funk record. It's definitely heavy on the beats, but this isn't really what I think of when I think of like hip hop, you know what I mean? It doesn't quite scratch the same itch. Like I bought my Dr. Bionic records out of the hip hop section at my local too. And it was a similar sort of thing. Like I really liked them. I was like, but these aren't exactly like rap records, you know? It's more like, has that groove going, you know, I can sort of see where you could make it into a rap thing, but, I don't know, maybe that's what all the instrumental records are. Maybe it's just my ignorance talking here, but, yeah, there's definitely sort of a vibe that goes with this, which is, a nice vibe. I mean, I like this record, but it's not, you know, it's not boom bap. Speaking of, I got a little shout out to, Heavy Therapy. He's had a channel on YouTube here for a couple of years. You should go and subscribe to him. He's a good guy. Talks a lot more about death metal than it's sort of like my swim lane necessarily. I mean, I like death metal, but I don't tend to drink as deeply of that as, you know, more sort of like earlier styles of metal, you know, like the 80s shit for the most part. But, yeah, but he put me onto a couple of records that are just really fucking fantastic. So I want to make sure I give credit here. And actually, I'm going to show a few things here that people put me onto in the comments section. If I don't remember who left me the comment, I apologize. But these first couple are from Heavy Therapy, okay? So this one, alright, I kind of balked at this one because I thought Clips was kind of a dumb name, honestly. I mean, let's be honest, that's I don't know, I just showed that fucking Odyssey record too. I don't know, something about Clips just kind of rubbed me the wrong way as far as the name goes. I sort of balked. And then I like heard a couple seconds of it somewhere, and I was like, holy shit, that sounds really good. And I took another look at the cover and realized they're posing in front of a fucking stove. And I'm like, you know, that's actually kind of hard to argue with as far as the quality of your record cover, you know? I mean, if you're fucking sitting on a fucking oven door, I can get on board with that. Anyway, this record is way better than I expected. This thing is absolutely fantastic. So, hence the big shout out to Heavy Therapy. This thing, it's like really basic and really stripped down. Like it's almost at the level of like Radio by LL Cool J, where it's just him and his fucking drum machine. It's not quite as bare bones as that, but almost. But instead of just like a simple drum machine or something, you'll have some like really weird sort of sound that'll be sort of driving the beat. And it just makes for like a really weird, it's hard to describe. It's just a weird sort of listening experience, you know? It's really just really simple grooves and pretty straightforward rapping, but the execution, I mean, it's just mind-blowing, you know? It's like, I don't know, man, I'm thinking about making a really pretentious analogy with like Eric Satie or something like that. I think it might be a little bit more pretentious than what I normally go for on this channel, but, you know, sometimes you just put a tiny little bit of something in place, and if it's just right, it's fucking perfect, you know? Yeah, this is a Get On Down reissue, so I'll probably get an ad put on this, but you know something, fuck it, what the hell, this thing is so good. And this is kind of what we do on this channel, is listen to records and critique them together, right? Oh, there you go. That's like a beat. you know? Right out of the gate, it's really a unique sound, you know? It's so stripped down. And like it maintains the sort of vibe all the way through, you know? I haven't listened super close to the lyrics because I rarely do. Because what interests me more is like the way the sound of the people's voices are sort of part of the whole thing, you know what I mean? I talk about the production a lot in these videos. That's kind of what I'm in it for, is like how they're sort of building, like what they're laying down on that canvas to sort of put that stuff on top of it. I think it's more interesting than the, than the rhymes per se. But I do think that like the sound of someone's voice or something will add a lot to it. I mean, that's why Danny Brown is so awesome. I mean, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about either, but like he can keep telling me about it, and I'll listen because it sounds fucking great, you know. Is there anything about the weird sound on this one? I'm gonna bump it ahead here, just sort of like give an example for a different track. Let's not be at odds. We're more like than not 2 peas of a pod. Same hustle, set my hustles now flowed. I once gave it away in 30 grams and old. That accounts for all them days in the cold. Oh, it sounds like an accordion or something. I should know what that instrument is, but I can't play it right at this moment. It's so simple. I think we're doing like some really like elaborate like lines over this. I think it would distract from how cool the beat is, you know. I really think the whole kind of comes together in a really perfect way. So yeah, this is a fantastic record, man. I've been listening to this a lot. It's really fucking good. Actually, this is the other one that I grabbed at Heavy Therapy's recommendation. They gave me 3 at once. I don't remember what the third one was, but I grabbed this one too by Previous Industries. Not that I don't really love the name of. It didn't really grab me, but I am pretty much down with the whole like abandoned shopping mall theme. And yeah, this is another one that's pretty straightforward too. Oh, I don't know, man. Let's just fire it up for a minute. I don't know. I'm not as used to talking about this shit as I am with the metal stuff. I can just sit here and pontificate about metal all day long. But these records challenge me, which is part of why I like them so much, you know. It's really cool to feel like I'm hearing something new, you know. Especially at my age, you know. Listen to thousands and thousands of records, you know. I mean, I don't know how many I have right now. Probably like 5,000 or 6,000 somewhere in there. But I probably have owned like between 10 and 12 if you add up all the shit that I've let go of. And the tapes and everything else. And you start adding in shit that I sampled or listened to at other people's houses. You know, it's a lot of music. And so to hear something and go, yeah, I haven't heard anything quite like that before. It's like awesome. I mean, I kind of live for that shit, man.
Yeah, I'm going to start practically immediately. Yeah, so gather round.
This one's pretty simple too, but it's simple in a really different way from the Clips one. You know, it's more sort of a full sound, even though it doesn't have a ton of shit going on. The rap sounds a little bit more sort of mature as far as the delivery goes, you know what I mean? It's not just sort of as straightforward and like really simple as on the Clips record. And I don't know how to describe it, but compared with the Clips one, the beats sound fatter on this one, you know what I mean? They sound really sort of thin and kind of focused and like cutting, you know what I mean? Like sort of like a razor slice on the Clips one. And this one's more sort of like... I don't know, I mean, because this one isn't exactly the most bombastic one here either. Bump this one ahead a little bit too. Maybe it's just that bass in there, but this one has more sort of a full sound. And it's not like these records necessarily have anything to do with each other, just because the same dude recommended both. I've sort of been comparing them to each other in my head, so it's kind of arbitrary. But this is a cool record too. It's pretty recent too, and it's cheap. Yeah, 2024 on Merge Records. There you go. All right. So I heard from the Perth contingent that people are entertained by it when I lose the fucking inner sleeves. I swear I don't do that on purpose. It's not like I lose my inners for content, but I'll try and keep track of them. Alright, so here's another one that someone in my comment section put me onto. They actually put me onto a few guys, but the one that I grabbed the thing from was Al Divino, I guess it is. And yeah, I got a couple of these, and they're really sort of I mean, they're really sort of on the experimental side of this kind of hip hop. You know what I mean? They have the beats and that sort of thing, but it's more sort of like sort of a spacey sound almost. You know what I mean? More like psychedelic implies a little bit too much like out in the stratosphere. It's not like that. It's more sort of like I don't know, man. I'm thinking about like getting out of bed in the morning and staggering around before I find my coffee, but that sounds really negative, and this isn't like that, you know. Let's fire that one up for a minute too. What the hell, man? Yeah, Al Divino and yeah, the same dude recommended yeah, this guy, Uncle John. Like Uncle John, but with an Ankh. And for some reason I want to call him Ankle John. But I assume that's not what he was going for. We're going to put the other one on too. That Uncle John one is really good though too, man. Yeah, if you watch this channel for the metal, stick around because I'm going to be showing a bunch more metal before you know it. Because, I mean, that's still like my basic, like my bread and butter, my meat and potatoes, you know. But it's just exciting to get into a new style of music like this, man. And keep finding more and more shit, you know. And so much good stuff has been made, like, since the year 2000, you know. People talk about the 90s rappers, like the Glory Days, and, I know, I said this in an earlier video. I feel like that's like 50s rock and roll, you know. I mean, it's good. All the elements are there, but it's not like... I mean, check this out. This is nothing like, you know... This... Yeah, this is a great record. I just played it a couple days ago. It's fantastic, man. It's an all-time classic. Deserves all the hype that it gets, you know? But this one definitely has that beat to it. But, like, other than those, like, fundamentals, it could be a completely different genre, you know? Like, that's how far this style has come while I wasn't paying attention, you know? So it's a really weird groove, you know? It's kind of off kilter, but it's not off kilter in the same way as like that AJ Suede stuff I was hung up on a couple weeks ago where, you know, it's like, you know, you're drunk listening to it. This is more just sort of like, shit's just a little bit askew, you know? It's like walking around with one leg being a lot longer than the other one or something. I don't know, man. That's what Al Divino makes me think of. Like, what would it be like to go for a walk if one of my legs were a lot longer than the other? Like an inch, a couple inches, you know? Yeah, it's every so often I do need to go back to my, you know, heavy beats, you know, serious rhymes. Not so serious, I'm like, you know, I don't know, these are just really good rappers, man. Like, when I came back, when I first got into this stuff a few years ago, actually, I checked this record out. It didn't really blow my mind. This time, I got really into that Mos Def record, Black on Both Sides. So I wanted to give this one another chance, too. And I don't know, man, I get this one now. This just makes sense to me, this record. It's awesome. And the vinyl on this is so fucking cool. It's kind of reason alone to get it. Like, it seems like the sort of thing they just do on a first edition, but they seem to have done it on all of them. You see those stars in there? It's really cool looking. And it's not like an inordinately expensive record either. It just comes like that, you know? So it's Shout out to them for doing something so cool and not making it like a limited RSD thing or some bullshit like that. Just like you dig the record, get a little something extra, and here it is. And I'm here to appreciate it. I've been listening to some 38 Special too. I'm not quite as hung up on the Griselda stuff as I was a few weeks ago, but it's still like coming out, you know what I mean? Listened to some El Camino earlier today too. This 38 Special is really good though too, man. Gunsmoke. Yeah, it definitely kind of has that sound, you know, that sort of loose, kind of smooth, but definitely sort of a gangster vibe to it, you know? Like, I wouldn't be starting shit with these guys. It's a great cover, too. Yeah, this Raz Fresco. This one I kind of got on the strength of the cover. And it was cheap, I'll be honest. There's a cool one too though, man. There's really sort of a jazzy one. I'll fire this up for a minute. Probably get the idea about the Aldovino at this point. There are a couple here though, and they're all kind of off kilter that way, but they're a little bit different from each other too, you know? I kind of dig that, you know what I mean? It's like they're stretching and trying. I almost lost that in her, but not quite. Let's fire this bad boy up for a minute. Alchemy. Shit. Yeah, this one's just plain black here. It's kind of more of a jazzy, laid-back groove, as I recall. Now watch, it's going to come in and be like, bam, and I'm going to be like, oh, fuck, I guess I never really served me well, but...
How can I help you? I'm checking out these artifacts.
A lot of samples in this one, too. But you know, since Czarface was sort of my entry point for all this shit, I can't bitch about samples.
Berber Ashanti tribe, present-day Ghana, 19th century.
What? What about this one?
One's from the Indo people of Benin, 16th century.
Trying to keep track of my shit here.
Also from Benin, 7th century, in Fula tribe, I believe. I beg your pardon.
What's the thing of research in Benin? But it's from Wakanda. And it's made out of vibranium. Don't trip. I'm gonna take it off your hands for you.
So to show that 38 Special. Here's another one. I actually found this one locally here just a couple days ago. This is Mad Hatton. I didn't know anything about this one, but it's on Tough Kong. And Conway has an appearance on here, so I was like, yeah, it's going to be worth a listen. It's pretty similar to the Griselda stuff, a similar sort of vibe. But you know, that same sort of cool feel, you know what I mean, with different personalities. I mean, that's kind of one of the things that I appreciate about the Griselda stuff, is when people, just different personalities factor into it. Or maybe personas is what I should say, you know. Because I'm sure they're turning it on, you know. It's just like I'm doing when I turn on the camera here, right? Yeah, interesting stuff though, man. I think this is an Italian label, but I could be wrong about that. Yeah, here's another one that's different again. This one's almost like if there's such a thing as doom hip-hop, this would almost be that, you know? This has really sort of this dark sort of vibe to it. Almost kind of, almost kind of droney, you know what I mean? Sort of kind of menacing in that sort of way, but not boring. Very cool record. Actually, the side 3 on this one is etched too. I'll show that real quick because it's cool. Dialect apparently is how they say the name on this. Of course, I think of like the guys on Doctor Who, the Daleks. There we go, man. Side 4. Look at that shit. And again, this isn't like a $100 record. This is just like something you find. Yeah, Endangered Philosophies. I'm curious to check out some of the other stuff by Dialect. I get the impression they've kind of changed styles a bit here and there. Like their records are different from each other, maybe I should say, more than they change styles per se. But that one's really interesting, so I kind of want to hear more. Let's see. Yeah, this Dead Prez one was kind of a new one to me. Great record, actually. Another really serious one. You know, it's like really sort of straightforward on the hip-hop. The raps are, I mean, they're confidently delivered, but they're straightforward. There's no whole lot of like sort of weird stuff going on as far as the delivery and that. But really sort of, you know, militant and, you know, not playing games. And the beats go along with that. You know, it's a heavy record. You listen to this, it's like, yeah, you know. Yeah, fantastic record, man. Yeah, I talked about El Camino. Here's an El Camino record. This Gold Bricks one. Kind of bought this on the strength of the cover. Let's be honest. It has Mad Hatton on it too, and Jay Skis. Yeah, it's sort of, you know, like Griselda kind of vibe, but this guy has his own personality too. You know, it's oh, I don't know. I don't know, put it into words. I feel like if you're watching this, you probably know that stuff already. But then I always assume that people know more than me. So that doesn't make any sense. You just listen to some. That'll make more sense than anything else. I think you see what I'm saying probably as far as the jazzy sort of sound on this, but like on a song like this you hear a lot less, obviously. And a lot of strings on this one though, like we were just hearing in the last cut. Or sampled strings, you know? I don't know, what should we put on next here for a minute? Oh, my shit's getting all disorganized again. Oh, here we go. Maybe we'll fire this up for a minute. This is Billy Woods. It's a reissue, a recent one of, God, I fucking forgot the title. Hiding Places. This record's fantastic. Actually, it really blew my mind about this one. It's great anyway, right? But at the beginning of side 2, there's a fucking sample of, Smog by Los Dug Dugs. And now I lost the fucking inner. There it is. Let's see, as soon as I find it, we can listen to a minute of Keith Woods. Or Billy Woods, sorry. Keith Woods, what the fuck am I saying? Yeah, it's funny. Some of these seem more like art house hip hop almost, you know what I mean? Like, with these fucking labels and that sort of thing. But hey, I'm all in, you know? We'll put it on side 2 a little bit and see if we can get that Dug Dugs clip before we hang it up. Wow. Adjust this down a little bit since I'm adjusting myself. Yeah, it's this record. Yeah, Billy Woods and Kenny Siegel, apparently. And that's the gatefold. Yeah, I'd like to say you're running out to get this one, but it looked like it sold out pretty fast. And it's like, you know, it's on Discogs now. It's an awesome record, though, and I'll be looking out for more.
One night, every woman came up out of grave. Or wherever
It is kind of a weird feeling to be like looking for sort of the harder to find stuff in the hip hop realm, and I feel like I'm still so new to it. Listen to that beat in there, that background.
Shadows names, give men freedom, they'll beg for change. Beg for change, ain't no bedtime, mama on cocaine.
Like the drums sound really live, you know? I mean, I imagine you probably do that with a sampler, but if you told me they played these live, I'd believe you. Well, maybe not here. But then there are these sort of weird sounds accompanying it. That slowed down voice, whatever the hell that is. There's so many cool ways to construct these beats, man. That's what's amazing to me about this stuff, you know? It's such, at its root, this is still such a simple form of music. But to take, like, the constraints that are imposed on it, like, build something this interesting out of the pieces, I mean, it just blows my mind. Like, goddamn, you know? Let me bump it ahead. I want to get that Doug sample. See, if I planned these things better, we would have gotten there. Or I would have figured out what song it was before we started filming. There it is. It's not very often I hear Doug samples on here. If you don't know what that is, man. That's a sample off this fucking record, man. Which is one of my favorite, like, Mexican, you know, rock records. It's funny, this one's a BMG, so I wouldn't be surprised if I... Oh, never mind, I'm not going to put you on YouTube. I can start reining it in as far as, like, talking about the, you know, getting ads put on and shit like that, because it seems like such a basic thing to complain about. You know, people do that so much. And no one wants to hear it, right? Alright, anyway, shout out to Heavy Therapy. Shout out to everyone who's recommended hip-hop records for me. Because I've been drinking this shit in like wine. And I appreciate it a lot. I'll probably be talking about metal again next time, but I've been enjoying this fucking digression, man. It's fucking fantastic, so... Thanks for watching if you hung in there this long, and I'll see you next time.